Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Hibs Talk. We are here celebrating live. It is Hibs our third. Absolutely fantastic. I am your temporary stand-in caretaker host, but a little bit like Eddie May, Tommy Cray or Jockey Scott, you'll be delighted I can take over tonight, but you don't want me having the gig full time. Joining me this evening is Craig.
Evening.
I've got Billy.
Hello.
And we've got Papa Stu. Or we can just call you Stu tonight. There he is. A little bit of enthusiasm. Thank you very much. Boys, how are we doing? Billy, I'll come to you first.
Ecstatic. I work in Aberdeen and I cannot wait to get to work tomorrow. Buzzing.
Fantastic. Papa Stu, go on. You're used to Hibs high up the league. How's it feel tonight?
Superb. I was very confident. As I have been the last few games, I was very confident. I thought they played really well tonight. Just sat in. But no, I'll talk about that later, but I'm pleased. I'm happy.
Absolutely. And come on, Craig, fill us in. Let's have 4 happy Hibby chappies here. Come on.
Well, I think if you remember, a few weeks ago, I declared that there is absolutely no chance in hell that Hibs won't finish third. So, absolutely delighted that they've managed to get over the line with a game to spare as well.
And there was at no point that you were fearing you were going to be in, was it Davis Bath with all these beans?
It was the Dave's Bath with beans, I think, was the nominated location. But as much as the public would want to see that, unfortunately, it's on the back burner for now. It'll be on the OnlyFans though.
Oh, there you go then. That's something for us all to subscribe and look forward to. Well, obviously, we'll just crack straight on into it, guys, with the Aberdeen review. First of all, the lineups coming in. A lot of debate, obviously, online regarding the goalkeepers. Macy starts. Stuart, what was your thoughts on that?
I was wanting to start. I've said it all along. I like a big keeper, and he's like a basketball player. 6'7". I really like him. He comes out for balls, collects them. I know Rocky's been with us for 5 years. He's done well and whatever. But that's another game. How many games has Macy played and he's never been beat?
So that's 6 or 7 now?
Something like that.
There you go. And I think, though, and by the way, I'd like to start off with talking about Rocky. I hope that all his family, and I know his wife and son and potential baby they were on a plane going to Israel, and they had to detour back to Germany. So I just hope that everything's all okay to Shelley and Rocky's family, and he's probably got a lot of family over there. So I just hope that everyone's all okay over there. So that's from everyone at Hibs Talk and all the IBs. Hope he's fine. Getting back to Macy, I just think that he's a good goalkeeper, and if Rocky's away, he might not play again for us.
Absolutely, it does bring up an interesting point, Craig. Love your opinion on it. Final game going into the season. We know now it is meaningless against Celtic. What do? Do you give Rocky an Easter Road send-off, or do you stick with Macy so he gets to know his teammates a little bit better?
If it was a full crowd, I think you'd give Marciano the send-off. But given the fact that no one's going to be there, I think I would have kept. I think we were all kind of in agreement on Saturday after the Dundee United game anyway that we would have wanted Macy to be kept in goals. So I'm happy for Macy to continue. He's unbeaten. He looks very assured in goals. Nothing seems to. The only thing I would say is that his kicking tonight at times was a wee bit off.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Like with Rocky for the past 5 years, we've sacrificed his kicking for all the other attributes that he gives us. So, you know what? A keeper being no great at kicking isn't the greatest of worries when they've got all the other attributes in their arsenal.
Well said. Now, earlier this week, our fabled host Gav was speaking to Jack Ross and asking the question, Gogic or Hallberg? He answered that for us. We got both. Billy, what did you think of the starting lineup in the middle?
I was happy with it. We said during the game that Hallberg is a bit of an enigma. He'll have games like the Dundee United game where he's absolutely fantastic, and then there was games like tonight where he wasn't at his best. But as you can see, when McGuinness came on, he didn't really do much into the game. So I was more comfortable having Hallberg start than it would have been for McGuinness. Ideally, in an ideal world, though, Joe Newell would have been fit and we would have been having him playing.
Well, absolutely. Moving on to the absentees, obviously Newell, Porteous, some big names there. Is this an idea of cotton wool, or is this giving guys a chance to be able to come back into the lineup in the fall of the final, particularly Darren McGregor for me? Stuart?
Yeah, I thought Dan McGregor was one of I thought there was about 3 or 4 players that got to the man of the match, and McGregor was one of them. I thought Hanlon as well, but McGregor was immense tonight. Absolutely fantastic. And Tam said it on the TV, you know, the guy doesn't play for weeks, sometimes months, but he comes in as if he's never missed a game. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Can we take a moment to appreciate that Maisie run as well?
Oh, what about it?
It was just Messi-esque, wasn't it? I actually wrote it down, underlined it, numerous scores next to it. Absolutely crazy to see him just drop the shoulder, run through them there. Absolutely fantastic. Aberdeen obviously coming into the game, changing goals for them with Joe Lewis, not featuring Woods in goals instead. I seem to remember him at Hamilton. Couldn't remember much of him. And McGeoch sitting quite deep. Reedy, what was your... sorry, Reedy. I'm just reading the side chat here. Reedy, hope you're doing well, mate. Craig, what was your opinion on the Aberdeen lineup?
Obviously missing Lewis, who I think Lewis is our captain, I believe, and McCrory. They're obviously 2 big players for them. As the game unfolded, I thought that the midfield was too... I think someone mentioned it in the chat as well, that McGeoch and Ferguson were just sitting too deep. And they didn't really have a sort of driver for the middle as what McCrory would be, to maybe get them. I know they had the ball in our half quite a lot in the first half, but that extra maybe 5 yards forward, to maybe really put pressure on the Hibs back line, they never really had that. To be honest, I didn't think anybody for Aberdeen was a standout. He who shall not be named, you could tell he wanted to prove a point. And time after time, whether it be McGinn, McGregor, Hanlon, Doig, Gogic, put him on his arse every single time. So hope you're watching, Flo. Hope you're well. But unlucky, pal.
Absolutely. Now, going over my notes, I'll tell you again, take my hat off to Gav. It is a stressful, painstaking thing to sit there and write notes while you're trying to watch the football. It was terrible tonight. Watching Hibs sober is not something I recommend, especially when you've got a bit of a cagey match ahead of you. First 20 minutes, Billy, what were your thoughts?
There wasn't much football to be played. Both teams kind of cancelling out each other. And I thought for the entire game, not even just the first 20 minutes, I thought Gogic was winning absolutely everything. Like, I thought he was outstanding today. And another big thing that stood out for me as well was anytime the ball came into Doig, his hold-up play, superb, second to none.
Absolutely. To be honest, looking at my notes here, not seeing much. The pitch looked great to me, but you could certainly see a few bobbles and things like that. Boyle not maybe having the better start that it was the young laddie on the right-hand side for Aberdeen. Did seem to be getting the best off him there. But what again was your opinion, Stuart, on the first kind of half, really? Because I'll be honest, I've not got many notes here from it that wasn't offering a great deal.
We actually sat back. I was a wee bit worried the first 15, 20 minutes because we sat back too deep, in my opinion. But that must have been the chat from the boss and the way to play it and hit them on the counter, which really it does help. That's the way that we usually play anyway away from home. So, but I just thought that I sit back until we got that goal. That was when Aberdeen had to sort of push on even more and then left a wee bit of space over their last their back 3 or 4. So the first half was a wee bit of worry, but that goal just finished it. It was fantastic, and we'll talk about it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, let's not waste any more time. 41 minutes on the clock. What an absolute finish from Doidge. Craig, give me your opinion. Go on.
Just that. I mean, he's
for those
not
listening on the podcast. The ping ball's right in the
we'll give you an audio description. The chef's kiss. Doidge isn't renowned for goals like that. I think it was, pretty evident at the start of his Hibs career that he was only really scoring sclaffs. But his last few goals, I mean, he's, that's the goal against Stranraer. The volley on the turn was great. The finish against Queen of the South in our crowded box, great. The calm, composed finish on Saturday was great, and that goal tonight was just unreal. He's caught his feet. If I'm being totally honest, I'd be a wee bit disappointed if we conceded a goal like that. I thought the keeper was too slow to get down on it, and it almost goes underneath his midriff. But at the same time, not taking anything away from Doidge, he's caught it. As the old cliche goes, he's hit the sweet spot. He couldn't have probably hit it. He couldn't have hit it any better. And it's went in. But even taken away from his goal, I think he's been unbelievable these last few weeks. He has been a proper number 9 in terms of the way that he leads the line, in terms of how he bullies back lines, in terms of how he links the ball, in terms of how his energy levels as well. He harries and harasses, he chases down. You wouldn't think that of a striker in his type of build. But, he's constantly at full-backs, at centre-halves, closing the keeper down. I just think the last few weeks anyway, when we've really needed to step up to the fore, when we've had these these worries in the back of our mind, are we going to bottle it, or is it, are we going to give it away? He's, for me, along with a couple of others, he's at the top. He's really set the standard for us over the last few weeks, and I would be if I was Wales looking for somebody to take to, I think they'd be daft not to take him as an option anyway to the Euros, because for my money, he's been absolutely excellent these past few weeks.
No, absolutely. I did have in my notes here that in the first kind of 30 minutes of the game, Nisbet and Doidge weren't kind of getting too much in the way of service. However, what they did get, they didn't seem to be holding the ball up very well. Billy, what was your opinion on that?
Yeah, as we were touching on the service, the young boy McKenzie was marking Boyle quite well, but in the first half, every time Boyle got the ball, they were doubling up on him, so that stopped the service. And then I think it was at one point as well, Boyle tried to switch position, so he was then on the left-hand side. He worked quite a good ball, but then played it straight out when he was trying to pass it to Gogic. So to begin with, they were trying different things and it just wasn't working for them. But it eventually clicked and we got the goal. But what I think Aberdeen did well was keeping Boyle quiet.
Yeah, most certainly there for it. My other notes kind of from the first half is just before we scored our goal, we had a bit of a let-off, some good work down the left-hand side from Flo, the pass on from Edges and Hendry, almost more of a defender's finish like his dad would have been used to. Scoops it high, wide and handsome over the bar. Massive let-off for us there. Stu, what did you think?
Yeah, it was just a wee bit. We just switched off for a wee bit, and listen, I don't think, I can't remember anyway, Macy having to make a fantastic save. Aberdeen have shown it in the last something like, you could probably say a dozen games. Aberdeen have probably only scored one goal a game. I think there was one game, I'm not sure which one it was, they did score a couple. Oh, no, it was maybe...
Certainly Livingston.
Livingston. But the rest, 0-0s or 1-0 getting beat, one goal, they've not been scoring goals. They're lacking a centre forward. And I just didn't think that Hendry's any good for that. I don't think he's that class for the Premiership. It might tell in years to come. But the night, I never seen Macy making an outstanding save. So I was actually confident. I wasn't even I was sitting here watching the game, and I wasn't that bothered. I was only really, I was talking to you guys on the chat, but I was looking when Hibs were attacking. I was going back to the telly, but when they were attacking, I wasn't really interested because they've got nothing.
I think when we're speaking about Macy, I think like the only one save that he had was questionable if he even saved it.
Aye, it actually it spun past the post and he had it covered. He's actually quite good at that, Billy. He did it in the semi-final as well. He's that tall and long arms. He puts his arm out and he just lets it hang there, but he's got it covered. And he's just sort of, doesn't have to touch it. He just lets it, and you actually think, has he saved it or not? I really do like that lad. I really do think we've got a keeper in our hands. And I says it on the last podcast. Who knows how we got him for Arsenal? I don't know.
Was tonight potentially the first time he's also played in a goalkeeper stop?
Probably, aye.
No,
aye.
I think he's won the pink one.
Has he won the pink one?
All right.
And I think he wore it against. Did maybe wear the purple one against Celtic?
Possibly. Everyone should wear the pink Hibs goalie top. That's what I say. My only other note from the first half was the happy Hibby draw was made about the 28th minute, and the number was 145. There you go. That's all I've got. I don't know if there was any rumours about there being a couple of cup final tickets as part of the draw prize tonight. Don't know if anybody else heard that, but there you go. Second half, we seem to come out the traps pretty well. From there, Boyle down the right-hand side about the 47 minutes. Great touch from Irvin. Defender on him quickly, but he put his touch off the bar. A little bit more of what we wanted to see, Craig.
Yeah, I think getting that goal before half-time was vital because, as much of a stretch it would have been, Aberdeen had to win that game to stay in the hunt for third. And getting the goal before half-time was really, really pivotal. We all said as well, the first goal is so important in this game. If they got it, their tails would have went up. The fact that we got it probably deflated them a bit because then they know, like Stuart says, they've got nothing going forward and subconsciously they'll be thinking, right, we've scored 4 goals in 15 games or whatever the record is, and we now need to score 2 in 45 minutes. So, it's been great game management for Hibs recently. Getting that goal is forcing Aberdeen to come out. And what we've seen for this Hibs team over the past few weeks, other than in wee sort of blips here and there, is, really, really, a great defensive solidity in terms of, you even got the St Johnstone game. The only reason we lost that was because Porteous had a brain fart and played it across the box. Other than that, it's probably 0-0. So, that coming out and just even giving them a wee hint at the start of the second half as if to say, go on then, come and attack us, because if you leave the gaps, we're going to exploit you.
Hibs were obviously forced into a change about the 53rd minute mark. McGuinness coming on for Hallberg. We see Hallberg going into the stands with the ice pack. Hopefully a bit precautionary for us there. What were your opinions on his input in the game? Stuart, on you go. No spoke to you in a while.
Well, I think McGuinness didn't really do anything. He never really got into the game. Apart from, you'll come on. I know you're going to come on to Murphy. So, 2 substitutions. One played well and one just sort of came in. I was actually a bit anxious when he did come on because I don't think that was his game tonight. I think he needs to be in a game that we're sort of scoring a lot of goals, and we're on the front foot. We were doing a lot of defending and through the middle to the defence, and I don't think that's his game. So I think when he came on, he was probably running about, probably a headless chicken because he never got into the game.
I think with McGuinness, it's like you're saying, Stuart, I think he's really suffered from coming to us injured.
Aye.
Getting into the team, then getting COVID and being out for a sustained period of time. And then he's tried to get back into the team when the team have been doing really well. And it's almost been a case of he's only going to get a game if Newell or Gogic or Irvine are unavailable. I think after a full pre-season, I don't know. I mean, at the start of this season, I hung my hat on Hallberg, and it didn't really come off. I thought, compared to the performance he put in on Saturday, he was really disappointing. Like compared to his the way that he played on Saturday, maybe is that as a consequence of Gogic coming back in, probably.
I think it was maybe different tactics tonight, Craig, because when he was playing alongside Newell, Jackson Irvine had pushed on, but Newell was the one that was getting the ball, and I think Hallberg was just sort of passing it easy ball. Whereas tonight, Hallberg was having to do a lot more work, in my opinion, and trying to be the flair player, which I don't think he is, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I thought he still played well.
Yeah, for me, as Kenny is just putting in the chat here, and thanks to everyone who's getting in touch via the stream chat for us, really appreciate it. Gogic was everywhere. For me, he had a fantastic game tonight. Billy, you're nodding away there.
Yeah, he was superb. He covered pretty much every part of the pitch. He was challenging, he was winning balls, and even when he wasn't winning the balls, he was doing enough to put players off and putting off their passes. Like, I have no idea how many, like after about maybe 60 minutes, every single pass Canberra did was straight to us. So he thought he was back playing for Hibs. And a big chunk of that was coming down to the fact that players like Gogic, McGregor and Hanlon marking Canberra at the game.
I think he actually passed more to us today than he ever did when he was at Hibs, to be fair. With us there. And another great comment here from Lewis, the Darren McGregor appreciation post. And it's what I'm coming on to now. 72 minutes. Can we just describe it? Craig, I think we're going to have another chef's moment here. What did he do?
What a player he is, man. Like, I can't even describe what he done because I've never seen it before and we'll never see it again. But what a Rolls Royce of a centre half he is, eh? Like, he's just an absolute dream. Like, he doesn't, like Cliff was saying on the commentary on my totally legal stream. He gets the ball. He doesn't try and do anything fancy with it. He just gets the ball and moves it on. And his defending is just... I've never seen someone with such upper body strength being able to bully people. Much has been made of his career path. For Darren, he's what, 36 now? 35, 30,
something like that.
35, 36. He's had two burst knees, and he's able to come in a match like the magnitude of tonight and put in the performance that he did, given that he's been in and out the team all season. Following on for his 10-minute cameo on Saturday, I think he's just a dream. Almost wish he was 4 or 5 years younger. So we could get another 4 or 5 years out of him. So who was it that made that? Who was it that made the post?
It was Lewis Connor, 1875.
Lewis, I am 100% fully paid up member of the Darren McGregor Appreciation Society, because not only is he a fantastic defender, he has got to be the best looking player we've ever had.
Stuart, has he moved his way into the cup final team?
Tell you what, if I was Porty, I wouldn't be fucking happy. I'd be panicking, because he's going to have to show that he's 100% fit before he gets a strip back. McGregor was immense tonight, and I think, I always maintain when McGregor comes back, Hanlon plays better, because the two of them know each other's game, because they played alongside each other for a long time. And when he comes in, I thought Hanlon, now, a lot of people didn't give Hanlon the praise, but Hanlon tonight was fantastic. He came out, he walked out. This was said before, coaches, if he would just play the ball long, if he's no sure, and still walk out with the ball and play football. Hanlon was doing that tonight. Playing the long ball, diagonal, we were picking up a lot of diagonal balls. That's good. McGregor had really an assist, because he played the ball from halfway line to Doig, who headed that onto Jackson Irvine, who a wee flick, and then it was a goal. So it came from from McGregor. But Hanlon's been doing that as well. And a lot of folks slate him, but I tell you what, I thought he was fantastic tonight. The two of them were great at the back.
Just on your point about Hanlon, Stuart, and I think this is something that's probably been levelled at Paul for a while, that he's not a leader.
Aye.
He's no McGregor. He's not that big, bulky, smash him centre half. But one thing I noticed in the second half was my commentary died. So all I heard was the audio of the players. And for the start of the second half, until he got subbed, all I could hear was Paul Hanlon shouting and encouraging Josh Doig.
Mm-hmm.
And him because obviously it was on that side of the park, Doig and Irvin, where he was just constant at them. Right, Josh, well done, Josh. Up, right, push up, Josh. Take your time. He's constantly talking somebody like Doig through his. And when Stevenson came on, you barely heard him because you didn't need to hear him. Stevenson doesn't need to be coached through a game, but somebody like Josh Doig does. But it's
being 35, 36, Hanlon's only 30, so we've still got another 4 years out of him at least.
Aye.
At least, and the thing is, Billy, for Hanlon getting a lot of. A lot of the fans get on at him sometimes, but I've got to say that Hanlon plays really well, and
he's an easy target, Stuart. He's an easy target because he's a Habs player who's been there. He made his debut back in 2009, I think.
Well, when
maybe so he's been there for so long. He's an easy target for somebody to go because, like I said, he's no the bulky smash him centre half. He's like you said, he is somebody who can play the ball long, but he also at times does like to come out with the ball at his feet, and he's labelled as soft. But you look at I know stats didn't tell the whole story, but I think there was a thing the other week about who scored, who do they call the stat tracker and all that. And Paul Hanlon was in the team of the season.
Right.
Yeah, stats didn't tell the full story, but at the same time, stats don't lie.
Right. I remember watching my laddie, at 15-year-old, in juvenile level, and Paul was playing with Hutchie Vale, and he was playing middle of the park.
Mm.
He could play there as well. I don't know if you remember years ago, we got a couple of indies and they put him to midfield, and he's clever on the ball.
Yeah, he's very good on the ball.
Tonight, I've got to say, a lot of people don't give him his credit. I thought McGregor and Hanlon were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with Hanlon, right? So you've got a player who this season alone finished third, managed to get us to Hampden twice, technically three if you include last season's cup, and he got capped for Scotland. You don't do all that if you're a shite player.
Of course. No,
yeah,
he's done well, and I'm pleased for him, to be honest. Really am.
It is very much reactionary, though. I mean, you look at, you go back to the St Johnstone game, and I came on the podcast after the St Johnstone game saying, get them all out. Jack Ross, get them out. And, I'm man enough to admit that I'm eating a lot of humble pie just now, because that Hibs team back then compared to this Hibs team now is just completely night and day. And I think the manager deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Is the football the prettiest? No, it's not. But this Hibs way that we've tried to play for so many years has got us one third place finish in 16 years?
16 years.
Jack Ross has came in and in his first full season as manager, he's got us to two semi-finals, a final, and finishing third with our highest ever wins total away from home. Probably the best goal difference outside the Old Firm. Like, you can't knock it.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic comment. I've got to read this out from John McIntosh. Thanks for getting in touch. Let's take a second to think back. Sorry, Craig, this was related to what you said. Let's take a second to think back to the semi-final against St Johnstone. Most people saying Ross out. What a turnaround from Jack Ross. 2 wins against Aberdeen, cup final, draw against Celtic, third secured. Well done, Jack Ross. Yeah, I think we were all very reactionary. I will hold my hands up. Same with you, Craig. Definitely wasn't in the best mood. I was sleeping in the spare room that night against St Johnstone in the semi-final. I can assure you of that. Did not go down well. Sorry, getting back onto the game, lads. Obviously, we've got a few more things to talk about and know it's getting past everybody's bedtime. Subs were made about 6-5 minutes match. We had Stevenson coming on for Doig and we had Murphy coming on for Nisbet. Changing the formation there, Billy. What were your thoughts?
Just good game management. Nisbet by this point has got quite quiet. He wasn't really doing much. Aberdeen were doing well to kind of mark Nisbet of the game. And not only that, Doig has played a hell of a lot of minutes for a young laddie in his debut season. So I see nothing wrong with bringing on Lewis Stevenson and just seeing the game out. Because you got to remember as well, Aberdeen's key point of being a threat, the only player that was doing any sort of like thing of note was Canberra. And you've got to think that players like Lewis Stevenson, they'll have been able to mark Canberra out of games during training for the last couple of years. They know his game better than probably he does. So yeah, I was very happy with the substitution.
No, absolutely.
It's something that we've not done enough, I think, in the latter stages of games, and which got Ross quite a bit of stick was game management. So it was nice to see today that when it really mattered, big games, that's the ones that we always say that Ross never wins. Everything went to plan today, and he's got to take a lot of credit for that.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
Well, certainly. The game was almost starting to peter out a little bit. We're still getting some great movement forward. About the 78th minute mark, had a brilliant move from Boyle cutting into Murphy. Ball over from Lewis into Doig. Irvin sadly just drags the shot wide. But again, a great team build-up, great encouraging goals. Watching the chat here at the side, there seem to be so many people praising so many of our players on the park. Already, I've seen McGinn, Gogic, Doig, Irvin, and McGinn all being mentioned. And sorry, Irvin. Again, just a brilliant, like Saturday, a brilliant team performance, Stuart.
Yeah, well, that's the same as the semi-final. We've spoke about it on the pod on was it Sunday after the game on the Sunday we did the pod, and tonight that's what's happening. We took a dip when we played Hearts and got beat. We took the dip when we got for St Johnstone. We weren't playing very well, but now we've peaked. And we're peaking right to the end of the season. And that's good teams like your Celtic and Rangers. You always remember, Celtic always came good at Christmas time. We're coming good the last half dozen games to the end of the season. And you can't really say who's the man of the match because there's 4, 5, 6 of them. And that's what I said to you on Sunday. If we turn up, the team turns up, and not just one or two. If the whole team, 5 or 6 turn up against St Johnstone in the final, we'll beat them they won. I've got no qualms about that. I feel confident about it. If we turn up like how we did tonight, and we all, everybody plays for the team, and there's not just one or two, we'll beat them. But St Johnstone just lost. Was it 4-0 tonight?
4-0, yeah.
I get it, Celtic, but Celtic are in a bit of shakes just now.
The thing is, as well, Stuart, you look at the night, and Nisbet was practically non-existent.
And if he comes good,
exactly, but that's the thing. You're going to have games where, so the night, for example, for me, Nisbet and Hallberg weren't at it.
Aye.
But on Saturday, you could probably argue that Newell probably wasn't at it. We've got enough players in the team that are now playing. I mean, look at Boyle for the first 70 minutes of the Saturday, almost non-existent, and then he just burst into life.
Same again tonight.
I was going to say, first 60 minutes tonight, where was Boyle for quite a lot of it?
The team is now performing at a level, like you say, Stuart, it's been building and building and building, and now we're hitting that peak because, we're getting to the last 2 games of the season now, and we've still got stuff to play for. You didn't want to be sitting like Livingston in 6th or 5th with fuck all to go for.
Right.
We're now I feel that this team is now at the level that when we've got 6 or 7 players producing that 7 to 8 out of 10 performance, we can afford Nisbet and Boyle to have maybe a 4 or a 5 out of 10 and then burst into life later on in the game. We've definitely got a greater steal about the team at the moment. I think, anyway.
Absolutely. What really impressed me again, and I've noted it down about the 82nd minute mark, I think McGeoch had the ball in the middle for Aberdeen, and immediately there was 3 Hibs players on top of him. Absolutely just harass him. The work rate and the organisation for the defence tonight was just fantastic, wasn't it, Stuart?
Aye. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put you onto the big man because Big Billy, he's a fighter in the team. And you look at him, I'd be scared of him. Go on, Billy, tell us.
Well, yeah, I think of it as well. You think how much we put into Saturday's game as well to then play a game midweek. Half these guys must have been absolutely knackered, but you would never have guessed it by the way they were performing. They were playing as if they knew they wanted third, and there was nothing going to stop them. They worked hard. They've had a great season. There's been ups and downs for sure, but like if tonight's performance and Saturday's performance ain't to go by, like these guys are going to give you everything that they've got. And I know I've said it like about 3 or 4 times already, but you just need to like watch, like as you said, like players like Gogic. That guy is not known for pace. He's not known for passing ability, but that guy covered every bit of grass, won every ball he could, and put players off every chance.
We're capable of winning. We're capable of winning in style, but we're also capable of winning dog ugly.
Yeah,
and that's what a good team needs to do. And you know what? I've seen Stuart. You've seen it more often than me. I went week in, week out for 98 to probably about 2012, 13. So 15 years gone week in, week out, and I've seen Hibs teams play 1-2s and almost play like a rondo against teams and come away with a draw or a narrow defeat. And yet I'm seeing a Hibs team tonight going up to Aberdeen and being dogged as hell and coming away with 3 points.
Sitting in, getting the goal. You know what we've actually done tonight? We done what Aberdeen have been doing to us for the last fucking 10 years.
Yep.
How many times did they come to Easter Road and they've came and scored the goal and just sat back and we couldn't break them down?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I've been regularly going to Hibs games probably since about 93, 94. The amount of times Aberdeen coming to Easter Road was one of the most frustrating games of the season. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Fantastic comment here, sorry, just to back up what Billy was saying. Gogic stats, he had 81.8% pass rate, 100% dribbling success, 100% aerial duels won, ground tackles being at 63%, 4 clearances, 4 block shots, 1 interception, 3 tackles.
Wow.
What a night tonight.
That's what you want for your destroyer in the middle of the park. Yeah.
And people say from Hamilton he wasn't good enough. There you go. My final notes on the paper here as I was sweating and counting down the minutes was in the 87th minute was the first yellow card. That has to be a John Beaton record.
And then there was another 2 after that. There was 3 yellows in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Maybe could have had a cynical foul on Doig in the first half. Could have been a booking. I don't know if Beaton was just having his face tripping him because he wasn't getting to watch the Rangers game tonight. Who knows? But for me, lads, that's about all the notes I've got. Has anyone got any closing thoughts?
I'll just say one thing, and
There's my closing thought.
I'll do.
One thing was right in the final whistle. I don't know if you noticed that, but Boyle was in the far corner and having a wee tussle with Canberry, and it went out for a by kick. And the look that Boyle gave Canberry was like, fucking up you. He was like that. I thought, yeah, beauty, get on there, wee Boiler.
Yeah, when our lightweight...
Whilst we're on that, I've got one thing I want to get out there as well. Ross McCrory, get up, you know.
Fantastic. Guys, could talk about that game all night. We almost have. We need to move on. Hopefully talk about this one very briefly. It's a topic that's been on everyone's lips probably since about Saturday afternoon. Fans at Hampden for the final. The debate rages on. We know that they are still appealing for more fans. There's rumours of anywhere between 500 to 3,000 fans in the stadium. We're hearing closer to maybe 1,000 to 900. What's everyone's opinions on this? There was obviously talk about getting moved up to Pittodrie. We've got a brilliant record at Pittodrie now, clearly. So is that a good idea? Stuart, can I come to you first? Hot button topic.
I'm not interested. If I got pulled out the hat for a ticket or two, I'd tell him to keep it. I wouldn't want to go. Even Hampden, to sit a couple of seats away from your pal and also a mask on, you can't jump up and make a noise and shout and scream. And nah, I'd rather watch it here in the boozer with the mates, or in a back garden with the mates with the tellies, and you can have 6, 8 guys, whatever, and have a laughing joke and have a build up. And imagine going through there. You'd have to be stone cold sober. I'm not saying you have to be drunk every game, but you like to have a beer. You'd have to be stone cold sober to get in. Sitting in Hampden, it's crap if there's about 20,000, never mind, 1,000 or two. It'd be shit. No. Just let the corporate guys have it, and us as supporters, we'll just watch it wherever and have parties. My opinion.
Absolutely. Billy, what's the chances of getting it on the big screen at the Mecca?
100%. Like, we've already said that we are going to be putting as much games on our big screen in the lounge in Aberdeen as possible. And I wish it could have started with tonight, but unfortunately we didn't open until Monday, because I would have loved to have just sat there with a wee Hibs tie on, watching all these angry Aberdeen fans watching the game on the big screen, and me just sitting there all smug. But back to actually to going to Hampden, I'm actually on the opposite side for sure. I would do anything to get there. I would wear a mask. You could COVID test me. You could vaccinate me. You could do whatever the hell you wanted. I've not seen my team play since Aberdeen away last time on the last game, and I'm absolutely desperate just to see a game of football again. Like, I was literally, like, at one point, me and the wife were driving into Dundee, and there was a bunch of kids playing their Sunday league games, and I was like, I could actually just stand there all day and watch them. I'm missing football that much. So yeah, I wouldn't care. I'm just desperate to get to another match, and I missed 2016. Unfortunately, I was one of the unlucky Hibs fans that couldn't go. I had a great time with my family in that at a barbecue. So if the roles are reversed and you can have a great time with your family in a barbecue and I can be at the game, happy with that.
Yes. Well, we've got 1-1. Craig, give me what's going to happen. What would you do?
Well, I'm quite glad the decision's been taken at my hands, because obviously I'm going away next weekend, but I'm very much in both camps. Like, when I went to the games as a child, I went with my granddad, which almost felt like going on my own, because he would barely say 10 words to me the whole day. And on the flip side, I now go with my son, who is much more interested watching TikTok on his phone. So, going to the game and sitting on my own wouldn't bother me. However, I'm on the same thing with Stuart. Like, if Hibs scored a goal in the cup final, it's fucking bit. We've not celebrated a goal in a year. Like, you want to be fucking launching yourself, doing seats, cuddling strangers, fucking doing all of that. And I've already said that, if I'm, whatever the way they decide to go, if the ballot comes out this way, I know how much it means to Billy. Like, Billy's been open enough and spoken about how much, we've all had to go through what we've went through in the last 12 to 18 months. If I'm lucky enough to get one, I'd be delighted to give it to Billy, because I know how much it means to him. If I was still here and I wasn't gone away, I wouldn't be that generous. But no, I'm almost on the fence. I'm glad the decision's been taken at my hands, but there is going to be people like Stuart who are a bit like, fuck it, you know what? I'd rather sit in the house with my pals and get pissed. There is going to be people like Billy who just want that bit of normality back, just want to be able to go and see their team. And I certainly hope that there's more people like Billy that they get a ticket because they deserve it after the last year that we've all had.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people online saying that tickets could go to the frontline workers. These people are clearly frontline workers. If you were including website developers, I would 100% agree.
Is that just Stephen making countless accounts to say that you should get a ticket?
It must be. That's the only way I can think of it. Our good friend Stephen works for the ambulance service, and we do take our hat off to him and all his colleagues for everything they've done this year. However, no, you're not getting a cup final ticket for that, mate. You can fuck off.
let's get the drive going now. Hashtag get Billy to Hampden. Let's get it going.
Get Billy Hampden.
Get Billy to
Anyway,
Hampden.
there's some of the Hibs stock coming here, so that's what's happening.
What?
Now, some of the Hibs stock are coming here. We're having a wee party in here.
There you go, everybody. Anyone who's listening, there's a big party around Papa Stew's. Perfect.
R24, get on the high bees.
Superb.
Craig, see that chair over there? It's going to be filled with something.
Go and just put the seat on it that says must be kept.
Oh, that way.
Must be kept empty due to social distancing. Must be kept empty due to social distancing.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've kind of done that to death, considering we still don't quite know what the hell's happening with it. To be fair, I'm sure the club are trying to figure it out with regards to numbers and the fairest way to do these things. But at the end, there's probably going to be a few disappointed fans there. Thank God for 2016, because if we were sat here waiting for our first win since 1902, it would be probably a much different story for us, let's be fair.
Fun fact, right, just before we move on, if we do win this cup, we'll be the most successful side outside the Old Firm in the last 30 years.
Will we?
There you go.
They think the Hearts have won 3 Scottish Cups. We own 2 League Cups and a Scottish Cup.
That's unbelievable.
So 4 trophies in 30 years. Shite when you think about it like that.
Yeah.
4 trophies in 30 years for a club of our size, but
well, nobody ever said being a Hibs fan was going to be easy. Let's be fair.
I know.
Give me those 4 trophies, the treble 4 times, and it mean nothing. Honestly.
Aye.
I'm sure I've told the story before in the podcast. However, last year I knew from university, big Celtic fan. She was in the opposite end in the 2013 final. She actually left early to beat the traffic and missed their third goal. She had no idea that they actually won 3-0 until much later on when I called her to chat with her. Might be harsh,
we won the singing that day, though.
That's it. Yeah, that's what actually mattered. Perfect. But yeah, if that's what it means to be a Celtic or Rangers fan, I think you can keep it. Moving on very nicely in a segue there. Celtic preview. Let's be honest, who gives a shit now? Doesn't matter. We've come forward in the league. Let's play the under-10s. Billy, what's your thoughts?
I want to see Ethan Laidlaw. I want to see Josh O'Connor. I want to see Stephen Bradley. I want to see Kevin Dabrowski. I don't give a fuck. Give them all a game.
Quite right, mate.
The games, I think Callum's put something in the group chat saying that obviously we've not had a chance to hear what Jack Ross has had to say yet, but for what I've seen, he's very much saying like the focus is now in the cup final and next week's squad will reflect that. So
that's good.
I agree with Billy Litsky. Laidlaw's been on the bench a couple of times. Stephen Bradley's been on the bench all season. It is a bit of a shame that I know he's a rival player, but it's quite fitting that Scott Brown's last game for Celtic
is at Easter
Road.
Road.
Going to be at Easter Road, given his last game for Hibs was against
Celtic
at Easter Road.
And he scored.
So,
right, he did.
Did diving header, wasn't it?
Aye, so it's quite
behind it.
It's quite for that aspect. I think Hibs fan, we're quite appreciative of former players that played for us. Some of the, you think when Boozy came back with Hamilton, maybe Ian Murray and Kevin Thompson didn't get it so much when they were at Rangers, but players in the past who've played for Hibs have always got a good ovation for the crowd, and it would have been nice. It would have been nice for Scott Brown to have received that, given what he gave to us as a player. He's been at Celtic for 14 years. It's meant to think it's been 14 years since he played for us. Almost wish he was coming back to finish with us, if I'm being honest. Hope he has a fucking howler at Aberdeen right enough.
Nah.
But it's quite fitting that his Celtic career ends where his Hibs career ends.
You know what? Just to be thought when I'm listening to you there, guys, I wish that Jack Ross would phone up Celtic and just say, right, listen, guys, you've not got anything to play for. We've not got anything to play for. Go and let's play our second string team and give them because you didn't want the young boys to go and play the Celtic team that come along with Edward and all them in it, and get a pace in. You didn't want that. because, that could affect them. So, just to say, phone up Celtic and just say, listen, we're going to be playing that. Do you mind, bringing your second team and we'll and play a game? That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wonder what mindset Celtic are going to be in right now, because obviously the league is long gone.
Get us on our fucking holidays. That's what their mindset's going to be.
Well, there's no chance in hell John Kennedy's getting the job there. A lot of that team's going to be getting emptied out the door.
Exactly. And if it is Eddie Howe that's coming in, he's not going to base his opinions on players, whether they stay or whether they go, versus an end of season game against Hibs where there's fuck all to play for. Do you know what I mean? And there's no even, from our perspective, I don't think there's even cup final spots to be playing for. That team that played on, you can pick between the team that started on Saturday and the team that started tonight. For me, players like Murphy's probably came back too late to maybe try and force his way in. McGuinness, McGuinness isn't going to get in. Gray's not going to get in. Stevenson's not going to get in. So you're almost picking, if you look at who was missing tonight, Newell and Porteous, you're looking to get 11 for 13 for me. So it's a total nothing game.
Well, do you remember the last nothing? Well, it wasn't a nothing game, but it was like it was hilarious because Rangers had won the league and Hibs were in Europe, and it was 1-1. Was it 1-0 or 1-1? Can't remember. Anyway, we were past the ball about.
Oh no, that was Helicopter Sunday.
Helicopter Sunday,
aye. And we were past the ball about. Nobody wanted the ball. They were just
because Rangers just needed a goal to win the league. It was 1-0 to Rangers.
And they had won it, but we didn't have to force the game because that was us into Europe.
So, and I want to say that Aberdeen were beating Hearts 2-0, and there had to be once again a horrific goal swing for them to. I think
it was six goal swing. So we were happy for Rangers just to. I think I've seen. It's funny you mentioned that, Stuart. Martin O'Neill was talking about that in a podcast the other day. Saying how much it stings that Hibs done that, but that he also understood. Why Hibs?
The game that it was actually hilarious because nobody wanted the ball, and they just kept on pinging the ball back and forth. Like nobody wanted it, and you're thinking, just blow the whistle, ref, but he couldn't. So this game on Saturday with Celtic and Hibs and Celtic, it's just play two young teams and let them have a good game and a nice stadium, and the cameras will be there. Give them a wee bit of experience.
Interesting point. You're saying, sorry, Stu, you're saying bring the young boys in. Kenny's saying Papa Stu can play.
I've seen him play fives. He'll not last more than 2 minutes.
My hammies are away. No, but Billy rhymed off about 6 players. He rhymed off about 6 laddies that why not give them a game?
Aye. No, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
And we should be rewarding these young guys as well, because it's all very well saying, they've had a taste of first team training. Give them a taste of first team football.
Yeah.
Of course.
I let them ken what it's like to run out an albeit empty Easter Road, but for a competitive game rather than an under-20s kickabout at fucking HTC with 3 men in a dug.
You're right.
And you've got players like Laidlaw who are quite well sought after from English teams. Giving him a taste of actually coming out to Easter Road, that may be the difference between him saying, actually, you know what, I want more of this. I don't want to go and play for Chelsea's under-21. I want to stay here.
Right. Is it on TV on Saturday?
Well, it'll be on Hibs Pass anyway, we're getting that for sure.
On Hibs Pass, yeah.
Aye, but so it's
actually, I want to say it is on
for us season ticket holders, Stuart, it's on Hibs Pass.
By the way, it's on the telly. Let's see what if it's on that. When you're talking amongst yourselves, I'll check the telly.
And if anyone had any doubt that this was a live podcast, here it is.
We're talking about Helicopter Sunday. I was just thinking there, that's probably the only time where there's been a pitch invasion with Hibs and Rangers fans that hasn't resulted in somebody getting battered.
It almost did, by the way.
I can assure you somebody did get battered that day. Really? I'm not going to name names, but a well-known in front of me in the West Stand ran in and practically turned a Rangers fan inside out. It was absolutely fantastic.
For the West Stand?
It's no It's not
from the
telly.
West Stand. Didn't he give me that? Come on.
There's no well-known name for the prawn
It's not the
sandwich
telly,
brigade.
guys.
I'll message you later.
Rangers and Aberdeen's on Sky, so Hibs will know about the game. So, anyway.
Oh, that'll be because they'll be getting the trophy.
Aye, that's right. Anyway, right.
Perfect. So I was going to say Celtic preview could have been a larger section on the pod tonight. However, we've done the job tonight. Sod it. Well done. Well talked about, guys. Just to wrap up for us here now, obviously we've had a great evening. We do have a Celtic game coming up on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff for us. So I wanted to do a little bit of a starter bench sell for us. And the ones I wanted to focus on were players coming from Celtic over to Hibs. So let me just get this graphic up for us here.
So whilst you're loading up that graphic, Stuart, I've just had a message from the Dougie, the chairman, the Nesh, the North East Scotland Hibs fans, who've rocked up at Pittodrie. I don't know if you can see that there. You see it?
No,
sorry,
it's
mate.
too big.
Bright,
well, they've rocked up at Pittodrie and met Jack Ross, John McGinn, and Darren McGregor.
John McGinn.
In the flag about.
John McGinn. Paul McGinn.
Sorry, Paul McGinn. Sorry. Wishful thinking. Cup final in my head.
Fantastic. Well done to the North East boys there.
You see it? It's one of the boys in the gaffer.
Sorry, mate.
See Jack Ross.
I'm sure we can share that on our social as well, but brilliant effort for them. And thank them for listening in as well and getting involved with us tonight. So, start bench sell, going a little bit through the decades and the eras here, starting off with Jackie McNamara. Never refer to him as Jackie McNamara Senior, because we all know it's Jackie McNamara Junior. Pat McGinley, and of course, cup finals coming up, Anthony Stokes. Boys, what are your thoughts? Stuart, would you like to go first?
Aye, is that because I'm getting Jackie McNamara?
You can talk about all three of them, mate.
No. I'll tell you a wee story. Jackie McNamara, one of the best players ever played Easter Road. Honestly, he's up the top 20, 30 anyway. Fantastic player. And I remember speaking to him, and he was at Celtic, as you know, and he was telling me that he was sort of getting pushed aside, and he was getting cortisone injections way back in the 70s. That's what happened. 70s. That they just had to go and play. So anyway, he told me, says it was pissing with rain. We went for we played the game, went for a shower, came out, and his missus was down the stairs at Parkhead at the front and holding a wee Jackie, right? Pissing with rain, soaked wet, and he had to get her and get them on the bus and away home, right? He says it was terrible. Celtic never liked or allowed any of the family into the stadium. How bad is that? You know, when you think
of a club for all.
Yes. So anyway, maybe months and a year and later on, he's watching the telly. He's sitting watching the telly, and of course, way back then, you never had any phones, social media, or anything like that. If you seen anything happening in football, it was on news, 6 o'clock news. So he's sitting there watching the telly, and on comes Pat Stanton signing for Celtic, and Jackie McNamara is going the other way to Easter Road, and Jackie's went, I've never heard of that. I didn't get that. I've never been told. That was the first time that he got told that he was going to Hibs. He was watching the telly, and it says it on the news, the 6 o'clock news, reporting Scotland. So he's sitting there, what the fuck's going on? I had to phone up, and that's what happened. He came to Hibs. But when I spoke to him, we were at a meal. We actually went away we were actually at Parkhead, in fact, at a corporate do. Watching the game. That game when Hibs drew 1-1, John Collins scored the top bag for 18-yard box. And he was telling us, he says, that it was the best thing that ever happened for him, because when you went to the old road stadium, the main stand, he says you went up, of course, and it went to the side, there was a wee bar, and that's where the players went in. But the other side, and I remember this, was another sort of bar, but it was for the wives and the kids. He says it was great. So you could go in and talk to your opposite side, your mates, have a few beers, and you knew that everybody was safe. You know, your wives and your kids were safe in that other room. And he says Hibs were a family-orientated team, club. And he says it was brilliant. He says, and it made my life easier. Whereas at Parkhead, nothing. He says, pissing me and she's going to the bairn outside. So Jackie McNamara, that's my wee story about him. Fantastic, really nice lad. But he didn't even know that he was coming to Hibs until he seen it on the telly when Pat Stanton was going the other way. So there you go, my wee story.
Fantastic. No, thanks very much for sharing that, Stuart. Really appreciate it. Has anyone got anything they want to share about Pat McGinley? Definitely silent.
One of my first heroes. My first season going regularly was the season we got relegated, and he was the one that back in the day when you used to stand outside the old main stand at the wee slope with my autograph book, and I just had page after page after page filled with Pat McGinley. He was one of my first heroes. Him and Darren Jackson.
Absolutely.
Were my first two.
McGinley was a player.
I want to say, and maybe she'll be able to correct me or back me up here, when he signed for us, he was one of the top scorers in the league at Celtic.
He was Celtic's top goal scorer,
Yeah. Unbelievable. Again, you couldn't really imagine that now, but always gave his all for the club. I've always had a great time for Pat McGinley. Billy, you're keeping very quiet. Would you like to talk to us about Anthony Stokes?
I would love to speak to Anthony Stokes. So I remember when we first signed him the first time round, and his first goal for the club, if I remember correctly, was an absolute whippet of a free kick. And then ever since then, he just scored goals and goals and goals. And one that stands out in the back of my mind as well was against Rangers. Weezer Mama gets the ball straight for kickoff, beats a few men, whips it into Stokes, flashes it across the face of goal, beats McGregor. And I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the fastest SPFL goal ever.
It was. I remember the goal against Rangers at one goal of the season at Ibrox.
Or the wee keepy
uppy.
uppy.
Done like keepy uppies and then lobbed it over McGregor. He wasn't. Stokes, my granddad used to sponsor strips in the beginning. And for 5 years we had Stephen Fletcher, and they used to do an announcement after a Hibs player scored. Goal scorer for Hibs number 9, Stephen Fletcher, and I would always get my name read out.
Oh, fantastic.
So when he left, I was gutted. And the replacement for him, my granddad got us Stokes. And I remember the end of season do. It was him and Darren McCormack that were at our table. And I remember trying to speak to him as like, what age was I? I must have been 18, I think I was. 18. And I'm just like trying to speak to him, and he just had zero time for anybody at the table.
Yeah.
And that totally soured my opinion of him. Until obviously that famous day in May.
Absolutely. We can't kind of wrap up talking about Anthony Stokes without mentioning 21st of May 2016. He just played like a man possessed that day, didn't he, Stuart?
Oh, he was untouchable. That guy was, and he was still untouchable where was it in the forehand for the next 2 days alongside Boiler. Stokes was just, that one that led to the goal that he cut inside and he laced it and it rattled off. It was a save, but then it was a save and it hit the back post as well, but it went for a corner. That was one right at the end when he did he cut? Chris, I can't remember if he cut inside.
No, Keaton should have went like that, and
Keaton's diving header.
Keaton threw himself at it.
Right.
Keaton should have threw himself at it.
They got the corner out of it. But what I'm saying is, it was unbelievable. Everything he touched, I don't know if it's just because he hates Rangers that much that he gets involved in the game. But how many times have we seen him play and he never got involved? Mm-hmm. He were like, it was, you want to fucking string his neck, man. You're like, what? Stokesy, man, you're that good. And if he sort of did play to his potential, he would never have been at Hibs.
No,
Never.
He'd have been a
That
Champions
game's-
League regular, easily.
that game's probably the best individual performance I've ever seen on a Hibs jersey. Like you say, Stuart, he was just... And the thing is, when he was at Celtic, he never really played against Rangers because they always thought he was too much of a live wire. You know, he would get himself
He
into too much
probably
bother.
will.
And I think the end of that game was a culmination of the League Cup final and then the playoffs. And I think that's one of the only times that Stokes in his career has probably had a good word with himself and went, "You need to get on it today.
Nah.
You're on it today." And for the word go, fucking Tavernier he's came on leaps and bounds, to be fair to him, right? He's developed into a really good fullback, but that day Stokes just absolutely lit him up. The irony is, you know, the song goes, "Your defence is terrified," and it's not a cliche. They were. He could have had 5 or 6 that day,
Aye.
and there
We-
wouldn't have been any
We
complaints.
really could have done him in. But
Yeah.
what I liked about it is, and I reckon about you guys, but I love when the old firm get excited. And they were all excited because they were up 2-1.
Andy Halliday,
They all go excited. Aye.
I've got this.
I love that. And you know, if he was scoring 4 and 5 that day, which he could have, it would have been fantastic. Excuse me, but it wouldn't have been as exciting at that last minute.
Aye.
And
It was the
those
perfect
Rangers were so excited. Well, Bully,
I said that game, like, to me, like, I'm not saying this just because I'm a Hibs fan and what it meant and everything that happened. If you were a neutral watching that's probably got to be the most entertaining cup final you'll ever see in Scottish football. It had everything.
It's the most memorable as well. Not just, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Hibs fan. I mean, you look at the narrative surrounding the cup final. You know, we'd went toe-to-toe with Rangers all season. They'd got promoted. You know, both in the Championship. You've then got the whole 114-year curse. You've got the whole Hibs dip patter.
And you have to remember, Rangers still going for their first trophy
Yeah,
as well.
You've got you know, Hibs 2-1 down with 10 minutes to go. Corner in the last. It's just a Hollywood. Steven Spielberg couldn't have wrote a script like that. It was just. It was literally. It took you from there to there
and
to
back.
there.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know what, Craig? I've been to Hampden, I've been to Parkhead when we got beat when Alan McCoy stood his overhead kick. You know, the only Scottish Cup I've been there at Parkhead with Hibs. But I've been to all these games and seeing that you know, they've got some crowd when you think, well, so we in the finals, but the crackle of that crowd is frightening, man. When they scored and made it 2-1, and you're going, fucking, here they go again. And it just and they go nuts. And it's all in that half. And the first thing I says to Taylor, as I've met, says to Taylor, I went, don't worry about it. And he went, what? I says, we're going to beat them. He went, what, in extra time? And I went, no, we're going to beat them. I says, I can feel it.
there's a moment if you watch Time for Heroes, and I think Rod Petrie mentions this, or maybe Tom Farmer mentions it in their bit. It maybe gets to about the 70th minute. Between the 70th and the 75th minute, and something happens, and there's just that you can feel something building within the support. And it was almost like collectively everybody was just drawing in here, and they were getting close. The Rangers defence were going from there to there to there to there, and there was a proper stirring in the support. Like I'm one of the most pessimistic Hibs fans you'll meet, but even I said to my mate who I was there with, we're not losing this.
Right.
But anyway, sorry, Stuart, we went right off on a tangent. Start down Sell.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing to ever talk about
Start
2016
down
final
south.
until we talk about the 2021 final.
Let's hope we can make more memories like that.
Absolutely. So,
And
Billy,
how fitting would it be if Hibs round off the Scottish season, lifting the Scottish Cup with "Thank You NHS" across the jersey?
Absolutely.
To just me at Hampden on mine singing Sunshine on Leith.
Okay, Billy, start, bench, sell, McNamara, McGinley, Stokes. Where are we going?
Well, I'm going to start Stokes because it's cup final. It's coming for cup final week, and I'm feeling that we need a big performance for somebody. So I'm going to start Stokes. I am going to bench McGinley, and I'm going to sell McNamara because, in all honesty, I was too young. I have no idea what he was like for us.
Absolutely fine. Craig, where are we going?
I'm same as Billy with a sell Jackie McNamara purely because I never seen him play for Hibs. I'm going to bench Stokes because
He didn't talk you to it, player of the year.
Yep.
All right, fair enough.
And I'm starting McGinley purely because he was one of my first heroes.
Absolutely. Kenny on the chat here saying he was McGinley was man of the match every week when he had his first season ticket in 1992. And that was kind of roughly when I was getting into the games as well. Always remember Pat McGinley coming through. But come on, Stuart, what are you going to do for Jackie Mac? Let's hear it.
Right, well, because I've seen the whole lot of them play, and I'm going to tell you, see Jackie McNamara, see if he was playing now, he would be worth millions. That's how good he was, by the way. He strolled, he played sort of sweeper, right? And I know he didn't play that nowadays, but he sort of played sweeper at the back. And I'm telling you now, he strolled the game. One of my mates used to play alongside him, and he says he's never played alongside with one player ever like it because he was so easy on the ball, he was comfortable on the ball, he read everything. So I'm going to start him because he's at the start of my at the defence. I'll bench McGinley because McGinley's a machine coming on. I'm sorry, but Stokesy, he was good, but you didn't care if you were going to get him 100% or 40% because he didn't care if it was him. It was him. His way, no way.
Well,
So-
absolutely. I've got to agree with you there. Fantastic, guys. Thanks very much. We're almost starting to wrap up here, but I realised something I've not done, and Gav would shout at me if I haven't. I never got your predictions for the Celtic game. I do apologise.
I couldn't care two bucks.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know what the team's going to be like, things like that. Are we wanting to chuck some wild ones out there, put a couple of bets on?
And 2-all.
2-2.
Oh,
2-all, 2-all,
2-all.
Billy. What are you reckoning?
I'm still in the mood for winning the cup, so I'm going to say we beat them 3-2, and it's going to be a youngster scoring each goal. So you're going to get Stephen Bradley's going to score the first, Laidlaw's going to score the second, and Gary O'Connor's Loddy Josh is going to score the third. Done.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thanks very much for tonight. Just want to wrap up and say we've done it. We've got third. We might have stumbled over the line a little bit, but by God, what a season. Jack Ross, thank you very much. We look forward to next year, European football.
Get the beach balls out.
And Hibs Talk will be back. We've got a number of programmes that we are planning for the coming weeks. Obviously, reviewing the Celtic game, ramping up for the cup final, as well as we're hoping to do a quiz as well, I believe. Absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed that tonight, guys. You want any parting words?
Well done on hosting, Stuart.
aye, well done.
Good man.
for stepping
Bit
in,
about-
mate.
You just didn't suit that pink, mate, that salmon pink on you.
Oh, I thought I made mine sparkle. well.
Did that hurt me?
I did. I thought it went so well, and now you've just cut me so deep.
It's your salmon complexion doesn't go with it.
I'm not going to lie, I thought you were topless and they were tattoos for the Health Podcast.
Oh, Dinny, my tattoo's starting to peel and it's itching us. So we're not going to talk about that, though. I'm trying not to think about it. But guys, thanks very much. Really enjoyed that. Hibs Talk will be back again very shortly. Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers.
Right, guys.
Cheerio.
Hello all, Gav here. Thank you for making it to the end of the podcast. Just quickly to say thank you to Stuart for standing in. I think he's done a tremendous job. Work got in the way, so I wasn't able to host this evening, but tremendous stand-in. I honestly thought Stuart done a tremendous job, so thanks again to him for that. Just to say, we'll be back on Sunday to look back at the Celtic game, and next week we've got the phone in. We're looking to do that on the Tuesday, so let us know if you're interested in getting involved with that. And we'll also do a quiz on the Thursday, cup final kind of quiz. and we'll preview the final, of course. So make sure you follow us at HFC Talk to know when our content's coming up. Thanks again to Stuart. Thanks for listening, folks, and we'll be back on Sunday.